Hey everybody, Dave Park, aka the Pattern Guy. We're up in the pattern shop today. Got a real nice project to do. It's really good. We're going to take you through it step by step, and it's going to do a few videos on this thing. I want to capture as much of this as I can. If you remember, I mentioned once in the past that I used to crew on a sailboat, wooden sailboat, so I have an interest in sailboats. I was going to get into the business, didn't do it. A couple years ago, I was on YouTube watching things, and I ran across a guy making castings for a boat. It's called Sampson Boat Repair. The guy's name's Leo. He's an English gentleman from England, obviously. So anyhow, what he did, he came over here, bought a boat. It's an old English boat. I think it's 114 years old. Bought the sailboat, and he's rebuilding it from the ground up. I said before, you guys ought to watch this guy's phenomenal craftsman. Surrounds himself with a lot of good craftsmen, a lot of younger guys, unbelievable craftsmen, and gals. Quite a few ladies are helping out too. It's a really good thing. I'll make sure I get the linkage to his YouTube channel below. So what happened was a couple Sundays ago, I was watching Keith Rutger had a new video out, so I was watching it, and what happened was Keith actually got a part from Leo to try to fix. Clark Easterling from Windy Hill Foundry actually came over to Keith's shop, and a pair of them tried to take this thing apart, and they were having some difficulties in that. So what happened was they ended up breaking one of the castings. So I'm watching this thing, drinking my coffee. I'm like, I'm going to get a call from Keith later. And sure enough, about 5 hours later, Keith called me up and asked him if I could give him a hand. And I couldn't believe it, because it's one of the things Leo does is he has people come out, you know, here and there to help him work on the boat with him. It would have been like, I would have loved to have done it. You know, time and money, never had the time, never had the money to go out to Oregon to work on his boat, you know. So anyhow, we're getting a piece there, we're getting it sent up here. Actually, Keith did send a part up here. It came here in pieces. I had to tack it together so we can get dimensions off of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to reproduce this part. I'm going to show you how we're going to lay it out. I already welded it together. I just tacked it together. It's not the perfect job. It doesn't have to be. We just got to get some basic measurements off of it. So what we'll do is we'll lay it out, get all the stock ready, and choosing the stock also. So usually they're going to make one casting off of this. So usually we would just use pine. I'm going to go ahead and make this one out of mahogany. That way it'll be easier for Clark when he starts casting it. It's going to be a little bit more rugged, and he's not going to have any issues with it, hopefully. So we'll do it with that. And then, you know, traditionally boats, a lot of boats have a lot of mahogany parts on it and that. And even though this is going to be cast iron, it's a cast iron casting. So we'll go ahead and make this out of mahogany. It'll look cool for him anyhow. Maybe it's something that Leo can keep and, you know, have this kind of like a keepsake down the road there too. So what we'll do is I'll show you how to start laying this thing out. I'll do a layout and probably start gluing up the stock for it. Discuss how we're going to build this, and I'm not 100% sure how to do it. I got to talk it over with Clark a little bit also, because he's going to be the one casting it. It's going to see how he wants to do it. There's at least one core box in there, maybe 2 core boxes. So it's a cool project. So yeah, we'll get the camera down here and show you. It's kind of heavy to pick up and, you know, getting out here. But what we'll do is I'll turn the cameras over here, get all my layout tools ready, and we'll start laying this out, all right? Hang tight, guys. Okay, guys, here's the part. This is called the capstan. It's actually a winch for the sailboats, and that they used to use these way a lot more back in the old days. You don't use them too much anymore here. So they actually use these for yard art for quite a while here. But what we're going to do is take some measurements off of this part. It was in 7 pieces when I got it. We tacked it together. It did spread out a little bit here and there. We'll still get you know, good measurements off of this. It's not going to be precise. It's a 114-year-old casting. I'm sure they just had rulers back in the old days when they made this, so it's not that critical of a part. It's not a rocket ship part. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically, well, I'll tell you, we want to do as many views as you can. This one, it's round, so we're going to do 2 views on this thing, okay? And if you can see here, give you a close-up view, we got this rim around here. It kind of looks like a wheel. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna have to core the hole outside, and then what we'll probably do is there's one of these holes on each side also. We'll pick that up in the core too. All right, so in doing that, like I said, I want to confer with Keith a little bit, or not Keith, I'm sorry. I want to confer with Clark a little bit on this one because he's gonna be casting it, so I want to work with him a little bit on that, but I think that's going to be it. We're not going to have to lay out this. There's a little hole in the top part of this thing. That's it. There's a couple dimensions off of this thing. Instead of laying it all out again, we're going to lay out the inside here, which is, we'll get this on this camera here. This is a little bit more detailed, so we'll get this one instead. We'll lay out this start part in here and outside. So what we're going to do is start out, like I always tell you, you got to make sure this casting is where it's at, okay? So when I take the measurements off of this, this is already cast, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to measure this with a standard scale, and then we're going to make it on my layout with a shrink rule, because this is going to shrink, right? It's cast iron, it's 1/8 inch per foot for cast iron. Okay, there's numerous ways you can go about getting the measurements off of here. Like I said, it's an older casting. You know, it's not a rocket part. You know, we want to try to get this as close as we can, and then it's going to be good enough to just take the measurements off here. You could use verniers. Like I said, this spread open a little bit, so you know, there's a thing a lot of times. So you know, if you're measuring this and it measures like 14 9/16 or something, I know it's spread apart. More than likely it's 14.5, not 14 9/16. You know, things like that. Or 30 seconds. I don't think they were interested in 30 seconds back then either. So, you know, as long as we get it within the 1/16 of an inch, I think we're going to be close. There is a couple spots on here that are machined, so we're going to machine, or you know, add stock for machining. All right, I'm going to get going on this thing. Couple things you can do, like I said, right? I could get an angle block up here. All right, put it on there. That might be an idea. But what we're going to do is basically this has got a rounded edge on it, so I got to get, you know, for me to measure where that rounded edge is not going to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put our ruler up against here. Same thing here, and I'm going to swing this back and forth a little bit, and what we're going to do is we're going to get the highest spot here. And you guys are not going to believe this, but just for giggles, I said that this is going to be like 14.5 is 14 9/16. I'm getting 14 9/16. It's just stupid little things amuse me here, but this is unbelievable. So anyhow, we're going to do that. Actually, I'm lying. It's 14 5/8. We're going to go ahead and make it to 14 5/8. I think it's a high spot. Measure a couple spots. Get the average out here. So, and sure enough, I was 1/8 inch off. I'm sorry, I got excited for nothing. Okay, so what we're gonna do is 14 5/8. Okay, so I know we're going to we're gonna make a core print around here. Probably put a couple inches on there. So 14 5/8. We gotta divide that in half. So it's 2 and 5. 2 and 5 is 14 5/8 divided by 2 is 7 and 5/16, right? So I want to add a couple inches to that. So what I want to do is get my center line established first. So I want to go up like 10 11 inches on my center line. That way I know I'm gonna have room to lay out my core print in that on this also, okay? So we'll do that. Maybe we'll just go an even dozen, all right? And get her going here. So we're gonna start with our center line. Okay, and layout board wise, I just had this piece of cabinet birch, just a scrap piece. It's like perfect size for this thing, so we're gonna use that. Okay. There's our vertical center line. So it's 14 5/8, so we want to go 7 5/16. We're not going to get that with dividers, so you get your trammel points out. Get the 16th side out here. So I'll start out on the 1 inch mark, so we got to go to 8 5/16. What I'll do is I'll go back to the 7 5/16, and then make sure I got the 14 5/8 here. Okay, so that's what we got here. Get your center started. Sometimes what you can do, if you have real thin pieces of aluminum, we used to use a machine that used to stamp letters and make tags. So we used to grab a piece of that aluminum, put it on the center, and use that, because you start digging in with the trammel points and that, and it's going to go firm. So I'm going to make sure this is 14 5/8. Okay, you got it. So that's our first thing. Okay, let's start laying out, guys. Okay, so the two holes that I said that we're going to try to core on the outside, they're straight across from each other. All right, so you can either do that vertically or horizontally. I'm just going to do them on the horizontal right now. All right, those holes are, it's like 2 5/8. This one's actually good over here, so that's 2 5/8. Okay guys, another thing we gotta do is this top part's tapered. I could go ahead and get my protractor out. You know, we'll do it both ways. Do it on the protractor, but the thing I did, the biggest thing, and this is where it's gonna be a little bit difficult, but we'll double check with the protractor. Put a straight edge across, measure from here to here, you know, here to the bottom. Measure from here to this outside right here, okay? Measure from here to here. That way we get the taper, okay? And then, like I said, we'll double check it with the protractor, okay? So we'll get that. And then I did the same thing with the interior here, is we put the straight edge across here, and then we measured down, you know, how far, and then we'll, you know, duplicate that measurement onto the layout, okay? So that's how you get the dimensions off, all right? We got lucky, you know, that we should get the outside thickness or the top thickness doing that way. More than likely it's going to be pretty uniform thickness throughout everything. So this part was broken, it was missing when Keith got it, so we'll be able to measure this, double check our thickness on you know, what we're doing here. So you know, that'll be a good way to check that thickness. But that's how you measure the stuff up, right? And then just keep on measuring, and just, you know, put it, measuring standard, and then put it down onto your layout, okay? I'm gonna keep on going here, guys. Okay guys, next what we're gonna do, we're gonna take our piece of pie, we're gonna lay it out on this piece. Okay, when I ran this through the planer, I didn't really, I had a rough, I just cleaned it up. I left it as thick as I can, okay? That way we got room for ours down the road. Okay, so you wanna try to do too with this, you wanna try to even this up as best as you can here. So you don't wanna offset this that much where you're gonna be off down the road. Okay, you can measure up if you want, not a big deal. All right, so then you gotta make knife lines down here, down the edges. I make knife lines because we're gonna sand that. I'm gonna try to get that fairly perfect, okay? With the outside radius, it doesn't matter where we're at, so I just use a pencil line. I usually get either a white or silver pencil when I work with mahogany because it ends up, you know, showing up way better. Okay, and like I said, the reason why we're doing this, making pieces of pie, I'm doing outside edge, not thinking what I'm doing here. The reason we're making these pieces of pie, we're making a glue up, because we're going to be turning this on the lathe, and I want the grain going the same way the whole way, okay? Plus, you know, like I said, we're woodworkers, you love that wood, you want to conserve it, you know, it's got to be there for, I got two little grand boys, and hopefully they'll get it. My son's not too much into doing this kind of stuff, that's fine. Maybe my grandkids will be, and I want wood to be around for them. Plus, you're paying for it too. You know, you gotta always think of that, okay? And wood, especially mahogany, is very expensive, so I just want to try to conserve it as much as you can. So this gets you really non-waste, or you're not wasting as much. There we go. I got 6 of these laid out on this board, and we'll set it aside for a minute. We'll get the other ones laid out, and we'll bandsaw them all at the same time. Move this layout out of the way, and we'll use the nice flat table underneath this to glue these up here. Okay guys, here we go again. Just got this one piece. We got to do, 12 of these pieces. These will be the outer rim. So same thing. So what I do is I want to get a nice knife line on there, and then we'll just take a pencil line on the radiuses. Okay. Let's do this 12 times. And we'll go over to the bandsaw, cut them out, and then we'll start gluing these things up. Okay guys, I got this stuff ready to glue up, or gluing up right now. Halfway there, what we're going to do is leave these things sit for about an hour-ish with the pinch dogs on there. And then what we're going to do is take the pinch dogs off, sand each side on the sander, and stack them up glue. I could probably leave them on a little bit longer with the pinch dogs on there, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to stack them up, and that's going to strengthen them a lot more too. We'll put some clamps on there, leave them in the clamps overnight. And then tomorrow or the next day, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to turn tomorrow, but what we'll do is start turning this thing and get it going. All right, we'll catch you in about an hour. Okay guys, we got the surfaces sanded off, so I'm going to glue this up. I'm going to tack a couple pins in the side so that when I clamp them up they don't move. That's a nice thing about pattern making, you know, we can make some holes, we can fill them up. So that's what we're going to do right this minute here. So like I said, I like to go a little overboard on the glue, personally, and get a real nice, good glue joint on this. Okay guys, do it like if you're building a brick house. Alternate the joints, and this thing will be real nice and strong. You don't need to see me clamp this. I'm going to put 6 clamps on it, all on the joints. That's it glued up. We're going to have to glue up some stock later down the road for the cork prints on the outside. I'm not exactly sure how I want to do that yet. I got to get with Clark Easterling, see how he wants to do some things. I got to start making a center hub. We're going to put that on a separate video. We're just starting this one out, and take you through another couple processes in the next couple of videos, all right? So this is for the Tally-Ho sailboat, 114-year-old sailboat out in Oregon. Check him out. I'll make sure Joe gets the link to his website, Sampson Boat Repair, real nice guy. Check him out, and we'll see you on another video, guys. You know, need some subscribers still. Keep that going. Appreciate everybody that's subscribed so far. Tell your buddies about me, and if you push the like button, that'll help with the site too. Till then, everybody have a good one out there and be safe.